Welcome YouTube to Icy Chap's Edge. I am Icy Chap, and this is my first ever video that I prepared for YouTube. So at the end of the video, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think I did well and what you think I didn't do well. This knife that I'm going to be reviewing is the Columbia River Knife and Tool Hissatsu. And in order to characterize what this knife is, I will first tell you what it is not. It is not a wilderness survival knife, and it is not a utility blade. And how I arrive at that, I will explain in just a minute, but first let's look at my fact sheet. This knife, again, is made by Columbia River Knife and Tool, and the model number is 2907K. Some people want that information. Blade length, 7 1/8 inches long, 12 1/4 inches overall. Steel is 440A, hardened to between 55 and 57 on the Rockwell hardness scale. Thickness is 0.2 inches, and the weight is 8 ounces. Columbia River Knife and Tool lists this knife at a little bit over $100 on their site. I think about 108 or 109. I bought it for 62 bucks on thebladeshop.com, and I've had good experiences with them on a few knives. So, why do I say that this is not a utility knife and not a survival knife? We're going to get to that when I talk about the blade design and the steel, but first let's talk about the sheath. High marks for the sheath. Hard black plastic, it's very durable, good material, does not reflect light, and I like the material right away. Number two, no clip, made of shiny metal. A lot of knife companies will make a nice black sheath and then put a shiny metallic clip that reflects light. Bad idea. This knife does not have such clip, and it doesn't need it. Why? Number two or number three, I don't remember what number I'm on, lots of attachment points. You don't need a clip on this knife sheath because you've got slots for webbing, rivet holes for cordage, and you can pretty much attach this any way you want, either to a belt, load-bearing vest, pack, any option. Next thing I love about the sheath, the retention. There is absolutely no movement, no sound, this doesn't rattle, and it holds the knife very securely. Even if it got snagged, I don't think it's going to pull free, for the simple reason that in order to remove this knife, you really have to pull pretty hard, and I'll demonstrate. You really have to use a lot of force to pull it free. I want to show something because of that. If I draw this way, you'll notice I can draw and cut in one motion. Very effective technique. I believe it was used by samurais, and they used to call it iai jutsu. I might be wrong about that. Don't flame me in the comments. But effective technique. So that's the sheath. Love it. Let's talk about the knife itself. First, I'll show you the blade up close. It's got kind of this black finish, which is non-reflective, which I like. I don't think it's that durable. You can see the CRKT emblem. You can see the name of the knife, the Hissatsu. I'm not really sure what that says down there. Maybe you can make it out. Let's talk about the blade design. Excellent, unique blade design. This is a traditional Japanese tanto point. Very thin knife. So, first thing to note, because it's so thin, this really is not a utility or survival blade. There's just not enough steel in this blade to stand up to heavy chopping. I think this edge would just chip way too easily because there's just not enough metal behind it. Also, the steel, being 440A, is really a soft stainless steel. It's not going to hold up to abrasive surfaces at all. I would not use this to cut natural fiber rope. I wouldn't use it to cut cardboard, which is actually very abrasive. And I wouldn't use it to cut wood. Not a good whittling knife, not a good chopping knife. So it's just not going to be good in the out of doors. So what does that leave us? Fighting. This is a tactical blade designed to slash and designed to stab. And why is it good at those tasks? Number one, look at that sweep. Excellent curvature to the blade, very similar to a katana or other samurai sword. What that does is, on a slash, you have a smaller surface area of edge that's actually going to come in contact with your target. Smaller the surface area, the greater the pressure. And when you have high pressure and a very narrow, sharp edge, you have penetration. It's actually going to cut. So, in addition to being able to cut deeper, this blade is going to cut longer. Why? Because look how long it is. It's 7 1/8 inches long. Now, there are fighting knives that are longer, but I like this length. It keeps the knife light, keeps the knife fast, and it still gives enough of an edge that when you cut, you're going to cut long as well as deeply. Looking at the point, very, very nice fine point. Almost a full thickness of the steel towards the point, but then about an inch to an inch and a half back, really narrows drastically and gives you a very, very sharp fine point. Excellent for piercing. Another thing to note about the point, they ground the spine on either side ever so slightly for about 2 or 3 millimeters. Very effective at changing the stress point of the knife. What do I mean by that? I mean that when you actually attack with the tip, the force is not going to be transmitted down the spine. The force from your hand is actually going to be transmitted down the center of the knife, which is going to be better for penetration. It's going to be better for stabbing. So when you have a grind like that, technically it weakens the knife laterally because there's just less steel. But by changing the focus of that stress point closer to the center of the blade, it actually makes it better for penetrating. So excellent fighting knife in that design. Let's really quick talk about the handle. Not crazy about the fact that there's no hilt. I like my fighting knives to have a hilt to protect my hand, but because this is kind of flared on either side towards the blade, it will keep your hand in place if you squeeze pretty hard. Not sure what the material is. I think it's kraton. Has very deep texture, which offers excellent purchase even if it gets wet with water, blood, whatever. If you notice, there's something molded into the plastic there. That little design actually has a practical purpose. When I grab the knife in a stressful situation, if I'm in combat, I'll feel that with my fingertips. If I'm right-handed, I know the knife is oriented properly. With my left hand, I feel no such design. Again, I know the knife is oriented properly. One hit against the knife, if you notice, there's some kind of ornate design in the plastic. Cheesy, guys, not a good design. Why? They should have cut that away, exposed the tank, and give me another weapon. I would be able to hammer with the butt of the knife with a metal pommel, makes it a more effective weapon. So overall, I think the design is excellent. The knife really is singular in purpose, as you can tell by the blade design and the steel used. I would like to see this knife in an S30V. I think that's a better steel, but it's just not necessary since it is such a singular in-purpose knife. I like it very much. I think there are a few things missing, but overall I think I can give it a very solid 7 out of 10. And if you're looking for a fast, deadly blade, I think the Columbia River Hissatsu is an excellent choice. That's my video. Thanks for watching. Please give me some comments, and I hope you enjoy your day. Take care.